Today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp.com, and I've been with them for a long time. BetterHelp is an online platform where we found that you can effectively communicate with your therapist. Now, you begin by filling out a questionnaire, and then you'll be matched with a therapist within a couple of days. And if that match isn't ideal for you, you can certainly make an adjustment there. Now, you're going to be encouraged to journal, and also they have the availability for group therapy on a wide array of topics, and I really like that. So as the need exists, go ahead and take the necessary steps to get the help that you need. And just know that BetterHelp has a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, so it indeed is a platform you can trust. There's a link below the video that will take you there. Would you be surprised to hear me say that narcissists are self-deluded? And by self-deluded, I mean that they cling to thoughts or perceptions that simply are not true. And yet, of course, as you understand the mind of the narcissist, you realize that this self-deluded thinking is just central to what they are. Narcissists have an inflated understanding of who they are, or a view of who they are, to the extent that they think, well, actually, good for you, that when you hang out with me long enough, you're going to find that you're in the presence of somebody that's really smart. I know who I am, and I know what I believe in, and if you would just go along with what I tell you, then you're going to be in great shape. They can project this notion that says, I know so much that I'm kind of in a class all my own. Of course, I'm thinking, well, actually, you are in a class all your own, but not quite in the way that you're portraying it to be. Narcissists will think, I'm really enlightened. I just know a whole lot more than you. And this especially shows up when there's some sort of conflict or when they're trying to prove a point. Now, if you stick around with a narcissist long enough, you're going to find that they have all sorts of attitudes that portray this I'm so smart kind of a mindset. For example, when you're with a narcissist, you'll find that their opinions are irrefutable. They think that their perceptions are extra keen. They see things that nobody else seems to pick up on. They think of themselves as having memories or explanations of past events that are irrefutable. If I say that it happened, then it happened. And if you come along and say, well, I think of it differently, then they'll just chuckle and think, well, you just don't know then, do you? They think of their plans as being the best. Therefore, my plans need to become your plans. That's how they operate. And then they can honestly think, I'm really doing you a favor when I tell you what to do. Now, of course, they don't see it as criticism or control. They just see it as, just doing the right thing. Often, they'll think, well, there's really no good reason for you to question me. I mean, why would you question somebody that is so smart and so enlightened? And then, of course, when you disagree with them, the narcissist will let you know in one way or another, I'm right, you're wrong, end of discussion. Now, I know that as some of you are listening to me just making these common remarks, it can just be like fingernails against the chalkboard. It's like, oh, I've been so exposed to that. And so there are many times when you'll come back to the narcissist with what we might refer to as your yeah, but responses. Well, yeah, but don't you understand this? And you'll try to correct them, or you'll try to let them know there's a whole different perspective that they're not looking at. And you know what's going to happen. When you try to correct them and let them know that maybe they're not quite so smart and enlightened as they try to portray themselves as, the narcissist will instantly become smug. It's like, and they can just kind of have this puffy attitude that says, well, you really don't even know what you're talking about now, do you? And they honestly think when you have a different perspective, you're just displaying your ignorance. Or they can ridicule you. They can come back at you and say, you have got to be kidding me. Are you really that dumb? Do you really believe that? Of course, they're not asking a question. They're trying to make a statement to make you feel shamed. Or when you question them, they'll go straight into the invalidation mode. well, you just got your facts wrong. You just don't even know what you're talking about. And even if you say, well, here's the evidence right here, it's like, well, then it's wrong. And invalidation is a frontline way of defense. In addition, they're going to, if you call them out, they're going to play what I would just call the enlightened card. You can't challenge me because I already know so much more than you know about this topic. So get off your high horse, which is their projection toward you. Sometimes when you call them out, they can just go straight into a rage. And the message is more or less, how dare you come against me? Do you know who I am? And they can just come on in a very overwhelming and harsh and critical and condescending way. And it's their way of saying there is no room for a separate thought around here. I am the ultimate. And then, of course, if you call them out, then it sets them up to hold grudges. It's like, it's not going to end well for you when you come against me. I'll make sure that you know that this is bad news for you, and you'll regret the day ever disagreeing with me. So when narcissists have this attitude that says, I'm really pretty smart, it reveals so much about who they are. They want to make it all about you, and it's of utmost importance for you to realize that so that you can stay outside of that realm. But basically, what it tells us is, despite whatever their limited knowledge or competence may be, they consistently overestimate themselves. And my question is, why do they feel the need to do that? You may be an intelligent person. You may be somebody who has remarkable skills at in certain capacities, and the narcissist can come along and invalidate you. And it's like, why do you feel the need to do that? And it basically comes down to them compensating. They feel afraid of coming across as inadequate, and so for them to say, "Well, I just know everything," it's their way of trying to pump up a very fragile ego. But they can't admit, some things I'm just not all that great at. Or in addition, as they come towards you with this "I'm so smart" mindset, it also illustrates that they're constantly looking for confirmation bias. In other words, they'll listen only to people who say what reinforces their point of view. They don't want to hear another perspective. Just as an aside, several years ago, I spoke with a person who was one of the most balanced people that I know. And he was mentioning that whenever he had to put together a committee to look into something at the place where he worked, he said, I always want to make sure that I have different people with different perspectives on my committee, because I don't want just yes people. And so he would talk about how part of his company's growth was due to the fact that he would look at any and all perspectives, no matter how outrageous they are. It's like, well, I can always learn from somebody. Narcissists can't think like that. Narcissists, as they have this "I'm smart" mindset, they illustrate that they mistake certainty for correctness. Well, if I'm certain about something, that it has to be right, which in fact it's not. They also illustrate that they have a competitive attitude in relationships. Now, to me, a relationship is not a competition, but narcissists approach relationships, especially in moments of difference, as consisting of winners and losers, and you know which end of that equation you're going to be on. They illustrate they have an egotism that overrides just common humility, which inhibits their ability to grow and to learn and expand. The humble person says, there's so much more that I can learn. In their "I'm so right" mindset, they illustrate that they have very poor self-reflection skills. In fact, to the point of it being non-existent. They think in very simplistic terms, and it's really interesting when you have people that are highly authoritarian and "I'm so right," whether it's in politics or religion or work settings, and they have to be so correct that they have very narrow points of view, and you can't talk them out of it. But that's their lack of self-reflection. There's so much that you need to know. It's like, no, I already know everything I need to know. Just listen to me. They can't say I was wrong, or I made a mistake, or I blew it, or I should have known better. They can't say that because that's too shameful for them. And then all this does is it sets them up to become classic blamers. If something does go wrong, they have to find a scapegoat. They have to find a flunky to put it onto. And of course, that's going to be you. And ultimately, they just become blowhards who are just, they're just so full of themselves that most folks think, just get away from me. You're not helping matters any. Now, I want you to contrast the narcissist mindset of being so smart and so better than with the attitude that comes with an honest and healthy self-assessment. There's in a healthy way of thinking, I'm hoping that you can realize the more that I learn, the more I realize how much more I need to learn. Smart individuals realize that they're limited, and there's so much more out there that they like being expansive. The healthy individual says, I actually look forward to hearing from somebody with an alternate perspective. It keeps me sharp mentally. And then healthy individuals also realize that emotional stability is grounded in characteristics like patience and empathy and self-restraint. Those are characteristics that you're not going to see very high on the food chain in the narcissist world. And then the healthy individual says, when I disagree with someone, I can still be respectful. Now, you can see that here on Team Healthy, we can say the more I know, the more I realize how much I don't know. And the narcissist, in contrast to that, says, shut up and just do what I say. That's how it works. So narcissists have not discovered one major truth, and that is pseudo-knowledge leads to obnoxious and unappealing attitudes. Healthy individuals realize you're going to get much further in life when you build your way of interaction with people upon dignity, respect, and civility. Now, I hope that videos like this can challenge some of your thinking and give you some good ideas about what you're dealing with. If you have not already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. We'll keep more videos coming to you. Now, I know that there are times when I've been sponsored for years by the people at BetterHelp.com. There are times when you need somebody that can help you out. A therapist can be certainly be somebody that can do that. If you go through the link that we have to the BetterHelp folks, there's a whole team of licensed professional therapists that can help you. I would encourage you, as the need is there, please get the assistance that you would need and allow somebody to help you unravel that. I'm a big believer in therapy, so get the help if the need is warranted. In addition, if you go to my website, you're going to find lots of resources. I put together courses, and they're very extensive. Each course has at least 25 teaching videos. Each video has handouts and questions. And each of my courses is meant to guide you in a very therapeutic way towards wholeness. We have topics about anger, about finding boundaries, about finding yourself despite the controllers, about having healthy connections. So quite a bit there. In addition to my courses, we also have my webinars, which are 90-minute PowerPoint presentations, along with lots. When I say lots, a whole bunch of articles, and then my books. So plenty of resources there. Okay, the narcissist is self-deluded, and they think, well, you really are lucky to have somebody as smart as me or to tell you what to do. And I'm thinking, okay, that's where you are. Then as a smart person in reverse, I'm going to be thinking, I don't really need to take my cues from somebody whose head is not in reality. I'm going to be an ongoing learner. I'm going to be somebody that's honest about who I am, and in doing so, that allows you, in contrast to the narcissist, to become more and more steady, and in the end, you're able to find true peace.